Communities across the country are struggling under the weight of overdoses and drug-related fatalities. Outreach groups are taking the initiative to provide life-saving materials to the most vulnerable people. The Smiley Bee Swaggin group has taken to the streets of Lloydminster to help reduce harm through needle cleanups, naloxone distribution, and more. Arian Tidswell met with organizers to learn more about the team's work.
This weekend, Smiley Bee Swaggin is putting on a free barbecue at City Hall, helping them connect with the community. The organization has grown rapidly, but remains a tight-knit unit.
From where we first kind of started was just a couple bags per month. And then things kind of really took a lift off over the last 4 months. And one of the biggest things I think as a group we've all said throughout this process was how close this has brought us. Each one of us has either been through addiction has touched our lives in some way or form, but we are such a large family. So in that, some of us didn't grow up together, some of us did, but in total, Faith's passing away, as tragic as that was, really brought us together as a family.
Working with the group has exposed its members to new ways of thinking about our most vulnerable people.
Before all of this happened, I never understood what the point of naloxone was, because to me I just seen somebody using drugs, where now it's impacted me personally, and I understand that that's somebody's child, somebody's sister. It's just not somebody on the street just decides to be there. That's not how it works. They slowly go into it, and it's even harder to come out of it. And if this harm reduction stuff, it's the first step in all communities to not only help the addict, but to also help the healthcare system and the policing system, because with that, there's less issues and less burden on those two places when you have something like this in place.
After Leanne tragically lost her daughter Faith to an overdose, she started the group to prevent more mothers like her suffering. Each kit they give out represents another chance for an overdose survivor.
It's part of the fact of having naloxone kits, Narcan. If one day, if she didn't overdose and she could have woke up and said, okay, this is the time I'm actually being clean. This was her chance. And there's other people out there that would have that chance. Because it is possible. Some of our group is proof. They're clean.
She has an important message to anyone in the throes of addiction.
That all addicts are human, and they have every right to be loved. Don't give up. Reach out. If it ain't one place you can't reach to, keep looking. There's always people that will help and listen. Don't give up.
Lloydminster City Council gave the second and third reading to the cemetery management bylaw this week. Before the bylaw was passed, there were questions brought forward to clarify certain aspects in the bylaw, including the definition of a child.
My question was, first of all, clarity for myself, just to make sure that I understood the intention of the bylaw, and that it was in fact 6 and under for the one burial area, but we're defining child as 12 and under. And we want to make sure that when families are experiencing a loss and they need a resting place for their loved one, that there's some clarity around where that loved one would be, and as well as in the fees that might apply to that.
For Council, this bylaw was important to pass since the last time it was updated was in 1990.
Certainly things do change. We've seen a change to crematorium, more need, more people being cremated. So that's resulted in changes. Our community tends to grow and continues to grow. As it grows, we'll also have a wider range of ages, and we may see people that want to be buried here.
Well, coolness is in the air along with leaves changing colors, and that means fall is finally here. One of the many exciting hobbies people enjoy doing during fall is pumpkin carving, but have you ever seen a pumpkin way off? Our Shelby Clark spoke with the local man who was able to beat the Canadian record for the heaviest pumpkin this year.
This is the biggest moment in Shelby pumpkin history. They've been doing this for more than 30 years. Okay? This is a big one.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is Dawn Cruz with the Cruz family here in Lloydminster. Thank you so much for taking the time to be able to speak with us today, Dawn.
No problem.
Really excited to be able to have you on here because, you know, it is the season with fall season and Halloween, and you brought a massive pumpkin to the Smoky Lake Pumpkin Festival over the weekend. So really wanted to be able to speak with you and help get the word out there. Now, how much exactly does this pumpkin weigh?
Pumpkin weighed 2,537 pounds, enough to tip my skid steer a little bit. So I was feeling good then.
Holy, yeah, that is absolutely massive. So I kind of wanted to get a little bit more in there and just be able to speak about what was the growing process like for this pumpkin? How did it really start out?
Well, you start off the seed in mid-April, right? And then hopefully you have a large vine, like 14, 15 feet of vine by mid-June so you can pollinate. And that gives you enough time to get peak growth right when the midsummer sun is right there. Long days.
And did you really expect it to get that big, or were you kind of shocked?
Well, when you start growing one, yeah, you always expect it to, and it never happens, right?
So that must have been quite a surprise to see that it got like this massive this time for when you were growing it. Now, how exactly were you able to move it from spot to spot and really get it to this festival? Can you kind of go into detail on that?
Well, I made a sling. Like when we hit the big ones, we have a sling we put around it, right? So you have a bunch of straps, you put a rope around the bottom, and then you lift it up and put it on a pallet, and then you take the pallet and you put it back on the trailer. It's just really sounds really simple, but yeah, sometimes it doesn't quite fit inside your lifting harness. I had to buy a heavier chain hoist, and I had to buy some longer straps and a longer rope. I had to upgrade everything.
Oh yeah, no, it definitely sounds like it's a workout just having to move it from spot to spot. No, it doesn't really sound too easy to me, honestly. It sounds like it definitely is quite a lot of work.
Well, after you've done it a few times, it seems easy, but then this time was like an upgrade in equipment.
Yeah, of course. And how did it feel for you, you know, to win this weigh-in for being right now the biggest in Canada, second heaviest in North America, and the seventh heaviest in the world so far?
Well, it feels pretty great. Yeah, it's not something you really expect. Like I didn't really expect it to be that heavy. Like there's a chart, right, that gives you you take an estimated weight from the measurements of the pumpkin, and you type that into the chart, and then you hope that you're way heavier to the chart, right? You know, you're never really that much heavier, but this time I was quite a bit heavier.
And is there something on the plan for you now, for you on your agenda, just with having the biggest pumpkin so far right now? Is there some more big pumpkins you plan to try and grow now in the future?
Well, yeah, you want the holy grail right now is to break the 3,000 pound mark. But I wasn't sure that anyone in this area could do it, like in Canada and the northern. But there's some guys in Britain that are going really close. There's one poor guy. They were really close to Patton Brothers, and they had one with a split in the end. And when they weighed it, it was 2,900 pounds. And so they easily would have had another couple 100 pounds in it. So it's possible.
Wow, well, I wish good luck to you. I know you're probably going to break that record, especially after seeing the photos and videos of the size of this one and how close you were. So I'm assuming you're going to get there pretty soon. But once again, thank you so much for joining us today, Dawn. I really glad we're able to speak and help get the word out there about this pumpkin. That's really awesome.
Thanks. I love your confidence. Thanks.
And now it's time for us to check in for the first time tonight with Shelby Clark, who has a look at weather.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jace Mackey, because as you can see, a fresh new look. We got new graphics. Woo! Amazing. All right, taking a first look at your weather forecast with our beautiful new graphics. Here in the border city, sitting at 20 degrees, you know, seeing a beautiful day once again, continuing throughout this week here in the fall season. We are seeing a lot more sun peeking behind those clouds as well throughout the day. So if you stepped outside whatsoever, it is a beautiful day. So hopefully everybody is enjoying it. It is quite beautiful for today. Taking a look at your school day forecast here, absolutely gorgeous graphic here. For school day tomorrow there for the kids, you know, they're going to be starting off slightly cool, seeing that single digit right there in the morning for 4 degrees, seeing it slightly warm up at recess was 6, seeing that 8 at lunch, and then finally getting to that 10 mark later as the school day is out. So still looking quite gloomy for tomorrow, unfortunately. So all the kids out there are going to be slightly cold, but you know, we are getting closer to the winter season, so we're going to have to get used to it. You know, it's coming up here pretty soon. Switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan. On the Alberta side, most spots are following suit with us here in the border city. Most spots seeing around 20 degrees, 19 over in St. Paul and Lac La Biche, while there's 21 for Vermilion there, 22, 23 for Provost and Wainwright. So not looking so bad in those spots there, slightly warmer. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side, they aren't looking too bad as well. Seeing kind of the same temperatures as what we are looking at on our Alberta side with those 20 and 21s in most spots. 18 up in Isle of Cross, so slightly cooler there. And we go a bit lower to Macklin. They are just seeing 25 degrees, so Macklin is looking a lot warmer. Looking at our overnight temperature for North Battleford, they will be going down to a low of 3. So like we were saying, seeing that single digit kind of continue on, but we will be cooling down quite a bit tonight. You know, a little bit better than what we are going to be seeing with those minus marks, but still going to be cooling down quite a bit as we go into tomorrow. Looking at Cold Lake going down to a low of 3, seeing that as well, seeing definitely a much more cool down temperature, but don't worry, I think we're all still pretty grateful for these temperatures here. And now looking at us here in the border cities, expecting that partly cloudy, you know, clouds, skies throughout tonight, and we will be going down to a low of 3, so definitely cooling down quite a bit. And now showing off one of your beautiful weather photo submissions. Thank you to everyone for our viewer photos, and this is a nice shot here of St. Walburg Walking Trail from Kaylee. So thank you so much for this beautiful photo. And that's all I have for now. We'll have more coming up after the break.
Local women completed an over 600-kilometer bike ride to raise awareness for mental health. We caught up with the duo to see how the fundraiser went. I'm joined today here on Primetime Local News with Mallory and Christy from the Libby Young Center. It's great to have you both here with us. Recently, these two completed a hundreds of kilometer long bike ride from Calgary to Lloydminster. They were raising money for the Libby Young Center, and they were also raising awareness for mental health issues. I'll start with giving you guys an opportunity to share a little bit about how your journey went.
So the journey started in Calgary near Cobb's Adventure Park. The first day we went to Red Deer. The second leg was Red Deer to Leduc, Leduc to Vegreville, then Vegreville to Lloyd. So roughly it was 600 kilometers in total and roughly 150K a day. So we had a lot of fun this year on the highway. Definitely experienced some mental and physical ups and downs, but we were happy to do it.
I mean, other than push and wind made it a little bit more physical, but I think we were both good at kind of just picking each other up, motivating each other, trying to keep going. Had a few flat tires along the way. Like, oh my goodness, had a few skills added. We had dogs, we had weather, we had people, we had hitchhikers, we had all kinds of stuff that we encountered. So
yeah, I would definitely say the wind was the most challenging. It made us work twice as hard on a lot of the days, and a lot of the bike ride we were directly against the wind.
Yeah,
so that challenged us quite a bit. And the hills,
found a lot of hills.
Those were definitely some quad burning hills, but we made it through those, and yeah.
Now, last year you did a very long walk. This year you did a long bike ride. How did they compare? Were they was one better than the other, or did they both take their tolls in different ways?
I think they were both challenging in different ways, but definitely physically a little bit easier this year, the bikes and stuff, rather than just the constant walking. I think our bodies held up a little better physically than last year.
Yeah, way less blisters on the feet this year, and the bikes are a bit lower impact, but I think the big physical difference was just that seating for a long time on those bike seats. That was something really new to us, and that was a challenge to find that right combination of standing up on the bike and sitting down to make sure that we had circulation in all of our muscles.
Now, I want to ask a little bit about the community support. I know once you got back here to Lloydminster, there was a welcoming party at Bud Miller Park. How supportive were people here in Lloydminster and on your journey as well?
Amazing community support here. I think we found the closer that we came to Lloydminster, right, everybody was more back in the cause. Moving over, waving at us, honking at us, a little bit more knew who we are, what we were doing. And it was just great to come back and have our staff, our volunteers, our clients, some other people from
Community
organizations,
members, family, friends.
Yeah, to greet us at that finish line and cheer us as we came in was amazing. But I think, like I said, the community support has been super awesome. Lloydminster is great at getting behind a good cause, supporting a good cause. And it's truly been wonderful the way people have reached out in some way, whether they were sponsoring or donating or just, helping us out on these 2 days or both of our events to, get us through volunteering, working hours, cooking food, setting up, taking down, all kinds of stuff. So it was amazing.
Now, this is the second year that you've done the Mental Health Matters fundraiser. Clearly, raising awareness for mental health issues is something that's important to both of you. Can you share why you think it's so important to break the stigma and raise awareness?
We just think it's really important to have more conversations about mental health, kind of normalize reaching out to your friends, your family, other supports, to just talk about mental health, express if you're struggling, just kind of reducing that stigma a bit through education, collaboration, and just general discussions and getting the word out there.
Yeah, just getting the word out there, what the Libby Young Center is, what we do. I think we're both very passionate and dedicated to this cause. So to be able to put that word out there, what we do, tell people, it's okay to not be okay, but continue to reach out, find your listening ears, find your people that support you to get you that help you need to get you through, right? It's that one breath at a time, one step at a time, one pedal at a time, one day at a time, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, I spoke with both of you ahead of this run, and we talked a little bit about the Libby Young Center, but raising awareness about what the center does is also a reason why you both are doing this. So I'll give you an opportunity to kind of run through some of the programs that are offered by the Libby Young Center, because there's a lot that's done by them here in the community.
We for sure do. So we have a few different programs. We do have some live-in ones like our life skills. Those are in-house living. So it's our intention to have, like, a lot of the referrals that we get, we deal with off of unit. They're professionally referred to us. They're dealing with the psychiatric illnesses. So we do a lot of schizophrenia, bipolar, anxiety, depression, because sometimes those people, right, they were struggling and they just don't have those day-to-day skills. So it's a great transition for them out of the unit rather than just going straight back home and trying to get back onto that daily life, right? So it helps us with, medication management, coping skills, socialization, hygiene, just healthy habits, those kind of things. So they transition through. We've got what our next phase is our SILP, our supported independent living program. So same thing, they're just working kind of those same areas, those goals, getting a little bit more of that independence, right? Practicing just so that ultimately our goal is to have them out in the community living on their own. We do have a community outreach program as well. That's a pilot project for us that we're working on getting there. So maybe those people that don't need that, as much as that daily, that 24/7 support, but are able to somewhat maintain on their own, still need some support. So maybe they're not able to come to us. This gives us a chance to go to them and provide them some mental supports and some of those day-to-day skills. And then as well, this big push for this fundraiser was our day program. So just being able to pull in some more education, presentation, resources, groups and stuff for them, but being able to access a little bit more of those recreation, leisure, community supports as well, right? So it's kind of all rounded about, right? It starts in the home, it starts in your daily life, work, making those appointments, everything, right? So it gives us that chance to round everything out and follow it straight through rather than, like I said, just having them completely straight out on their own. They've got supports and everything along the way.
So you've walked, now you've biked. Do you know what you're going to do next for next year's fundraiser? Because I'm sure there's something coming, or do you need a little bit of time to recover before looking ahead to the next year?
We've been flipping some ideas around. We had a lot of time on the road to brainstorm. So a few things have been thrown out. We're definitely going to change it up. We can say that for sure, and kind of do something different, more something with community involvement, maybe keep it in home in Lloydminster so we can have more people involved and maybe give our bodies a little bit of a break.
Yeah.
And for people who are out there looking to find more information about the Libby Young Center or wanting to donate, can people donate anytime they want?
Absolutely. So our website is www.libbie.ca. And right on our homepage, there is a donate now button, and it will take you directly to our donate form, and you can 24/7 just donate to the Libby Young Center.
Well, thank you so much for talking with me today, and congratulations on another successful fundraiser. It was great to talk with you both again. And now we're shifting into the world of sports. After a 4-game road trip, the Lloydminster Bobcats are back on home ice tonight. The Bobcats are coming off a 3-2 overtime win this past Sunday against the Canmore Eagles. Thanks to Ryan Shundle, the Orange and Black are set to face the red-hot Spruce Grove Saints at home tonight. The Saints are coming into this match having won 6 straight. Puck drop is set for 7 p.m. at the Civic Center. And now shifting over to the football field, the Holy Rosary Raiders have been on a roll as of late, winning the last 3 games. The Raiders are coming off a 29-11 win against the St. Paul Lions this past weekend, making them now 4-1 on the season. And given how much of a roll they're on, the club says they feel poised.
It shows that we're a good program, we have good coaches, and they know how to lead us in the right direction, because our goal is provincial finals. We make it there every year, but this year we want to take it home.
The Raiders will face the Wainwright Commandos this Thursday at home. Kickoff time is set for 7 p.m. Now it's that time again for us to check in with Shelby Clark with a look at weather and her new graphics.
Thanks so much there, Jace. Yes, with the new graphics, we are moving into an extended look at your weather forecast. We will be starting off with our central zone of our provinces here. And as you can see, nice new background, absolutely glorious. On the Alberta side, they are slightly matched with us with those temperatures. You know, still seeing that 19 to 20, 22 degree mark for most spots over on this end. So we definitely have been seeing the same kind of conditions as what we were looking at yesterday. Over in Jasper, they are seeing the warmest there at that 24 mark. So Jasper's looking quite warm compared to the rest, but still not looking too bad on our Alberta side, although we will be cooling down a little bit tomorrow. Just be prepared. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side for our central area, they are seeing slightly the same conditions as the Alberta side, seeing that 21 for most spots over on this end. Down in Saskatoon, they are seeing the warmest there with that 24, so they are matching with Jasper over on the other end. Switching over to our northern zone here, they are seeing slightly cooled down temperatures for sure compared to yesterday, especially up in Uranium City and Stony Rapids, 6 and 4. So even some spots seeing that single digit now as we are cooling down and heading more into the fall season here. 14 down in Flin Flon, while it's 15 for Wollaston Lake and South End. And if we go a bit more in the center, LaLoche and Buffalo Narrows now sitting at 18. So some spots are still looking quite warm over on that end. Switching back to our Alberta side here for our northern zone, they are seeing not too bad of temperatures, looking slightly cooler compared to our central area for sure. 11 and 12 for high level in Fort Chipewyan. We are seeing that 15, 16 for Slave Lake and Peace River. Grand Prairie and Fort McMurray still looking not too bad with that 17 mark. So some spots still not at that 20 degree mark, but you know, right underneath that. So not looking too bad still over on our Alberta side here in our northern zone. Now going over to our southern area, they are still looking the warmest conditions compared to the rest that we have been looking at so far. Medicine Hat, Lethbridge, seeing that 25, so still not looking too bad there. Those mid-20 range for most spots over in the southern zone. 23 for Coronation and Calgary. Banff is the coolest, but still seeing past that 20 degree mark with 22. Switching over to our Saskatchewan side, they are looking slightly warmed up compared to what they were looking at yesterday as well. Seeing that 25s now in some spots with Swift Current and Kindersley. Seeing 24 in Moose Jaw, 23 in Regina, and Yorkton, Estevan. Cooler compared to the rest, but still seeing past 20 with that 21. But now going to some overnight temperatures. You are going to be seeing that. Look at that. We even got 2 slides for this now because we got a little bit more spots here to look at. Most spots will be expecting that low of those single digit marks with those low of 3s in most areas, Bonnyville, Isle Cross, and Paradise Hill. A low of 4 and 5 for Provost and Meadow Lake that they will be expecting. Looking at some more spots here, we got Mirren, Pearson, Unity, Wainwright, and Calgary. So they are seeing those single digits as well, but you know, still nice to see those plus temperatures instead of seeing those minus marks quite yet. A low of 3 that most spots will be expecting as well. well. And Unity Wainwright in Calgary will be a little slightly warmer with that low of 4 to 6 degrees. And now looking at our 7-day forecast here for the border city. Absolutely beautiful. You see that transition, Jace? Gorgeous. We're loving it. We are going to be seeing a much cool down day tomorrow at 11, a gloomier day, but look at that. We'll be seeing some nice sun and cloud for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So a beautiful Thanksgiving weekend coming up here with that 19 and 17 on the weekend. And then starting off next week, we will be starting off warm with 14 on Monday and cooling down next Tuesday. That's all I have for now. Our Jace Mack will have our news coming up after the break.
We're at the SPCA for this week's pet project. I'm here with Jessica, and we have two adorable, affectionate kitties. This one is Garfield, and then we have Debo over there. They've been here for quite a while. Can you tell me how long they've been at the SPCA for?
Well, Garfield just hit 150 days, and Debo has been here for about 2 months. They didn't come in together, obviously, but they get along so well, so we know they're both good with other cats. They do have dietary restrictions. They will need to be on urinary food for the rest of their lives, just so crystals don't form, because that can be very expensive with the vet. So because of their special diet, their adoption fee has been dropped down to $75.
That's awesome. Definitely have that wiggle room for people, especially since vet bills can be quite expensive in medicine and stuff like that. Yeah. Now, can you tell me a little bit more about their personalities? How are they? You said that they're great with cats. Obviously, Garfield is very good with people. He's very affectionate. So is that the basis of their personalities?
Yes, they're both extremely affectionate. Like, as soon as anybody comes in here, they want the snuggles.
Now, do you have an estimate on how old they are?
Yeah, Garfield is about 3 years old, and he's a domestic short hair, and then Debo is about 4.
Now, have they been around other animals? Say if a family has a dog and they want to add a cat to the mix, would they be good with dogs, or have you really
We haven't really tested them with dogs, but I feel they would do really well, especially if it's an older dog that's calm, right, and doesn't have any territorial issues. They should be fine. We always can have people come in and do meet and greets as well if they're not sure whether their pet's going to get along with a family friend from here. So we do have that option where you can come in and have them meet.
And they seem super affectionate with everybody else, so yes. I don't see there being any issues with dogs. Maybe, like you said, a little bit older. Now, Border Paws is moving to a new location coming up. Do you have an estimated date on when that is, or?
We are hoping before Christmas, but again, things come up, so we're just waiting on some things to get finished, and hopefully before the new year, we'll be in the new building.
And how excited is everybody to be able to move into a bigger and better building for the animals especially?
Unbelievably excited. We're going to be able to have the proper facilities, the proper amount of space. You know, these guys, we try to give them the best life we can while they're here, but it'd be nice to have that newer space with air conditioning.
Especially going into fall, because I know that you guys seems to be an influx of strays especially during the winter and fall months. So hopefully you guys will be able to facilitate those. Have you noticed an increase in strays coming in and out?
Certain times of the year, there definitely is an increase, and that's why we hope people can spay and neuter their pets, because we don't want to have them locked up in here for any longer than they have to be, right? And they all deserve the best.
Of course.
We try to give it to them.
Yes, of course. And the animals that I've walked around seeing today are super affectionate and loving. So I'm sure they won't have any problems finding new homes. Now I noticed that the Border Paws is having a few events coming up. Want to give me kind of like a preview of those?
Well, so last week they had the Legacy Pumpkin Festival downtown. It went really well. A couple of girls were there with one of our puppies. His name is Turkey. We have the Downtown Pumpkin Block Party coming up on the 7th. So I'm going to be down there with a few animals. I'm not sure which ones yet. But there's going to be live music. There's going to be vendors. You can come on down and get some information about fostering or volunteering. We really look forward to seeing everybody there.
And especially with the Halloween coming up, I'm sure that, do you guys have any Halloween themed events, like opposed to the pumpkin block party that's coming up?
One that I'm particularly excited about. On the 29th of October, we're partnering with Marked Up Tattoos downtown, and we are going to be having a Howl-O-Ween tattoo fundraiser. Tattoos will be $100 each. You can pick from the gumball machine style, where you get what you get. They're going to have some flash tattoos, like 100+ designs, and also $20 off piercings. You can call and book your spot, but they're filling up really fast.
Oh yeah, definitely get in on that. I've noticed a lot of people have already been super excited about it, and I talked to Mark last week, so he's super excited for this event, and I'm sure it's going to be a great turnout, especially when you got tattoos on the cheap. That's perfect. People are going to be super excited about that. Now, I know you guys are always looking for donations for your dogs, for your cats. Is there anything that you need specifically, or just in general, any items that you're a little bit low on that you could definitely use more of?
Definitely cat and dog kibble and puppy food and rabbit pellets. We've been getting quite a few rabbits coming in and out of here lately, so that would help a lot.
And for anybody who wants to maybe adopt Garfield or Debo, or come look at any of the other animals, how can they do so?
Well, you can check out our Facebook page. You can also call down the shelter between 12 and 5 when we're open. You can set up an appointment to meet these guys, and hopefully someone will find their forever best friend.
Yes, definitely. I'm super excited for them to find their families. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
Pet Project is sponsored by the Pet Pad. For total pet care, think Pet Pad.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
I am proud to introduce author duo Charles Brakefield and Roxanne Berkey. Thank you so much for being here to talk about your Enigma series.
Thank you so much for having us. We appreciate being here.
Thank you, Sarah.
How did the both of you start writing together?
That's an interesting question, Sarah. So we actually started working together in a tech company, and we wrote technical manuals and documentation, and we delivered workshops to people. We found that we worked well together because we could pass things back and forth, because we don't even live in the same households. But working together, we learned, technology can be our friend when we share information. So we actually started by deciding that nonfiction was really no fun. However, fiction could be a blast because, we can kill people and never go to jail.
That was the hook for me. I was like, oh wow, this is I'm so on board with this. We're going to whack some people, and I know just exactly who we're going to take out first. Remember that guy that really ticked us off when we worked at this place? Okay, he's going first. Okay, he's going down. So it was very gratifying.
How did you guys come up with your Enigma series?
So the Enigma machine was used during World War II to encrypt battle plans, and the Germans were very successful with it until the Brits broke the code. So the Enigma machine components are part of our technology today. So they're part of your PC, they're part of your cell phone, they're part of all of that. So we decided that the Enigma portion was, because of that encryption and security and all that need, which is probably the most relevant thing that we as individuals in this world that we so digitally inhabit have to deal with.
So with that is the foundation. This all of the technology that has been spawned from the 1930s forward is based on some shape, form, or fashion of taking speech patterns and then transmitting them so that other people can't eavesdrop. So with that in mind, there was a group of patriots that decided they needed to steal one of the Enigma machines and get it in the hands of the Brits to be able to do that. And that was the generation that started our series of heroes, the R Group. And now fast forward to today, They're third generation that have taken and adapted and embraced all of the moral high ground for making sure that the bad guys don't have an edge over the good guys.
Do you have more books planned for the series?
The Magnolia Bluff crime series, which is what the Enigma flower itself is part of. Yes, we do. We have another one planned to come out next August, as a matter of fact, and we have a working title right now of the Enigma.
Killer Enigma.
The Killer Enigma, yeah.
And that one's going to be a little more traditional mystery, but it got our own particular spin on it. So we expect some people excited about another one of these coming down.
Do you have anything you would like to add about your series?
They have a growth attribute, if you will. The characters age, growth, they grow, their personalities develop, and we develop them through the 12 books in that particular series. And I know you're dying to know, but so I'll go ahead and tell you. What our favorite character in that series is the supercomputer Ichabod. And so he's a perfect example of how the characters grow, develop. By book 5, he's already started to his speech patterns, and he wants to be able to understand humor. And so those are the milestones that we pick up on as subtext to the storyline.
And what's very interesting when you get to the flower Enigma is that the heroine or the hero in this particular story is the third generation of the R group. So he's been around, he's been trained in technology, he's very adept at it. And all of the technology that we depict in the stories, including the flower Enigma, is real technology. So it's not science fiction, it really is science fact, but we love the storytelling part. We just love to tell stories. It's so much fun.
Thank you again both so much for being here.
Thank you, Sarah. And can we go ahead and mention that if folks want to listen to any of our samples for our audiobook, or if they want to get download samples, they can go to our website, enigmaseries.com. They can certainly reach out to us via email, authors@enigmaseries.com. And please, please, please pick up a copy of the Flower Enigma, and we'd love to hear your review.
Absolutely.
And that's all the time we have for our first hour of Primetime Local News. Thank you all so much for joining us, and our second hour continues next.